Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review for the Patrick Swayze Marathon. This time I'm reviewing definitely one of my favorite Swayze films. It's a great flick, Ghost. I never cared for this cover, which is the poster. Never cared for it because I don't think it sells the movie well. I mean, I guess it did because it made a ton of money. But this one seems like, okay, am I watching Ghost or am I watching a sequel to 9.5 Weeks? Maybe it's called 9.5 Months, or actually there was a sequel to 9.5 Weeks. But this cover, just is it on in Vogue? Is it so cover of a, I don't know. Anyway, believe it or not, this was directed by Jerry Zucker. Yes, Jerry Zucker, the same man who did Airplane and parody movies. One of the only times he got to do a more serious film, and he did a great job with it. Makes you wonder why he did not do more of that, because the film was a huge, successful movie. Patrick Swayze plays the character of Sam Wheat, and what happens is he's moved into this new place with his love, Demi Moore. They have a buddy played by Tony Goldwyn. And one thing leads to another. Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore coming home one night. They get mugged. And Patrick Swayze's character dies during the mugging. But Swayze, instead of going to heaven, he stays behind as a ghost. And he's able to go through doors, and he can't talk to anybody, he can't speak to anybody. The one person who can hear him is a spiritual advisor, but really a con artist, Oda Mae Brown, played by Whoopi Goldberg, which is the role she won an Oscar for. And in fact, Whoopi has talked about how she would not have gotten the role without Patrick Swayze, because Patrick Swayze, they were looking for people for Oda Mae Brown, and they, for some reason, the director and producer, no one wanted to talk to Whoopi Goldberg for some reason. And then Patrick Swayze's like, well, wait a minute, have you talked to Whoopi Goldberg? They're like, no. And he's like, well, I'm not going to do the film unless you talk to her. Give her a chance. And they did, and thus Whoopi has said, because of Swayze, I now have an Oscar. So that was really nice to hear. And you can find that story on YouTube, in various places on YouTube. But I mean, the movie, it works on a couple levels. It works as a comedy. There's some really nice humor, especially from Whoopi Goldberg's character. Some of the stuff Swayze says. It works as a love story. You really buy the love between Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore's character. A very touching film. The ending, especially because Swayze is no longer with us, is very teary, sad, yet satisfying, yet I don't want to say bittersweet, but it definitely touches your heart. And it has a great heart on its shoulder. Has a beautiful musical score. I love it, by Maurice Jarre. I like that in the opening, the music sounds like a horror film, but in a good way. It didn't seem out of place. But I mean, when you watch the film again, you listen to the opening music, it's like, this does sound like it would work in a horror film, and there are certain moments of horror in it, like when certain bad guys die and the shadows take them. I remember seeing that as a kid and being, wow, that's pretty creepy, because these shadows, you don't really see, they have faces, they have these weird, crazy sounds to them, and they just drag the people all the way down into the ground, into the shadows. And yeah, it's sort of a creepy sound effects they put on it, and eerie vibe to it. And of course, you have some good songs like Unchained Melody, which is the famous one because of the play during the pottery scene. That's the scene that everyone references. I don't know what more can be said about that. The effects are pretty good for what they had to be, where, when he goes through doors, it's like the color, when it's going through the door, like the colors leaving his body. I think at one point someone said it's like when you dip a napkin into water. I forget the analogy they use for it, but I thought that was a nice effect. I liked the bits where he was in the subway with another ghost, Vincent Schiavelli. Definitely, probably the role I remember him the most is this one, where he's this crazy subway guy, but then he teaches Swayze how to touch stuff as a ghost. And I always remember like his spiel about all your anger, all your hate, all your pain, did it to the pit of your stomach and just let it fall. All your love, all your anger, all your hate. And part of me is like, man, it'd be interesting to see us follow that character for a bit to see what all his deal was. Because like, there's a bit of dialogue like, someone pushed you? Of course someone pushed me. So it's like, did someone push him? Was it suicide, but he doesn't want to admit it? Yeah, there's a little subtle but interesting stuff there. And like I said, there's some fun humor, like Whoopi Goldberg, especially her. Like she's doing her reading at first, and it's a bullshit reading. Even Patrick Swayze goes, "What a crock of shit." And the way Swayze says that just made me chuckle. What a crock of shit. And Whoopi's like, "Who is that?" It's like she can hear it but can't see him. And then Swayze says, "Oh, you can hear me, you can hear me." And then Swayze wants her to help him, but she says no. And he's like, "Okay, well, I won't leave until I get help. Yeah, I could talk forever." And so throughout the night, he's like, "I'm Henry the Eighth, I am. Eighth, I am. I got married to the widow next door." And then finally, Whoopi's like, "Okay, yeah, right. Just don't say it anymore." Annoys her into submission. And just some of Whoopi's reactions. She was really spot on during this time. Because around this time, she had done Jumpin' Jack Flash, which is my favorite Whoopi Goldberg film. I reviewed that on the channel for those interested. Review is up. Still up on the channel for it. This film, then Sister Act. Just certain reactions. Like she's talking to someone, and then someone interrupts. And then Whoopi's like, "You want to kiss my butt?" Really nice rapport between Whoopi Goldberg and Swayze. They worked very, very well together. There's some nice chemistry between the two. And I don't know if I would say it's an Academy Award winning performance. I mean, it did win. But Whoopi Goldberg did do a really good job with this. And yeah, I don't know if it deserved an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress. But it didn't. Doesn't make me mad because, again, she did a great job. Tony Goldwyn, you find out he was their buddy, but he hired the mugger, not to kill him, but just to take his stuff. But it ended up killing him because Tony Goldwyn owes all this money. And Tony Goldwyn is one of those guys that I think after this film, everyone just saw him and hated him because he played a character you just was so mad at, because you love Swayze's character so much. You felt so bad that him and Demi Moore couldn't get together, so you were so mad at Tony Goldwyn because it's his fault. And Tony Goldwyn did play, I'm sure that it haunted him, no pun intended, the role much in life, but he did a great job with it. And you have the whole bit where Swayze has a plan and gets Whoopi Goldberg to pretend to be this character named Rita Miller, and they get this $4 million that Tony Goldwyn was money laundering, and then just the excitement of Whoopi Goldberg, and then just the anger, disappointment when Swayze tells her to give away to the nuns. That was a lot of fun. And even when the mugger and Tony Goldwyn die, when the shadows take them, it's pretty creepy. And also for a film that's PG-13, I thought the shot where Tony Goldwyn gets impaled by glass was pretty graphic for a PG-13. I appreciate it, I liked it, but like the piece of broken glass slides down and just punctures him, and blood flies around. The ending is beautiful. I mean, there's a lot of beautiful moments. There's a scene before that where they slide a penny under the floor, and Swayze lifts the penny by the door and then into the air, and Demi Moore just sees the penny floating towards her into her hand, and the way Demi Moore looks up and the tears falling down. I've always liked Demi Moore. I think Demi Moore is a good, solid actress. I love G.I. Jane. I thought she did a good job in Disclosure. I've always been a fan of hers. I think she would definitely be on my list of favorite actresses. And you really felt sorry for her character. You really felt the sense of loss she was going through. And like I said, I thought her and Swayze worked very well together. And then the ending where he's going to go to heaven and Demi Moore can finally see Swayze's character. And there's this thing between the two characters where Swayze would never say I love you. He would always say ditto. And now he finally says I love you, Molly. And she's the one who says ditto. I thought that was a really nice, beautiful moment. And then you see Patrick Swayze walking towards the heavens. And you like to think that that's what happened in reality. When the time came, the same thing happened, and he's up there riding horses, smiling, and enjoying existence. It's very sweet. A lot sadder now that Swayze is gone. But definitely brings an extra bit of punch. And the musical score, I love the musical score. Beautiful, beautiful musical score. I'm doing a shitty job of it, but I have no problems with the film. I love the cast. I love the chemistry between the two romantic leads. The sorrow you feel for Swayze and Demi Moore's character. The fun humor by Whoopi Goldberg's character. At times it was a little bit of a thriller. At times it even seemed like a little bit of a horror film. Like I said, the way the titles open up and the opening, again, does remind me like that's what would happen in a horror movie. Like, "Tew, ghost," and then this creepy music. It's like, am I going to watch a horror movie? And this is definitely a film I'd like to pick up on Blu-ray sometime down the road. I don't think there's any new features though. Oh, one thing I should mention, of course, the writer of this film is Bruce Joel Rubin, the same man who in the same year wrote Jacob's Ladder. So yeah, the writer of Jacob's Ladder is the same guy who wrote Ghost. And he did a great job on both. Both have a little, different sort of takes on the afterlife. And, but both very satisfying. And I would put Jacob's Ladder above it because Jacob's Ladder is a personal favorite of mine. But Ghost, fantastic film. Easily one of my favorite Swayze films. Beautiful movie. Great love story. For a love story, beats the fuck out of Titanic. That's my opinion. This is up there with Starman and others for like films I really love when it goes to love stories. And it's a Whoopi Goldberg, one of her best roles. Beautiful music, beautiful movie. Shitty cover. I'm going to try to find another cover for the thumbnail. No, this is like something that you would see like Cinemax. Like coming to Cinemax, Ghost. Wait, they fuck. And fuck some more. Ghost dick and the ghost clit. Anyway, move on. But thanks for watching. Take care. And we will see you guys later. Bye-bye.